what, if I got that type of good morning, I come here every single morning to speak to you guys. Would that be okay with you? I want you guys to know that it's a pleasure and a privilege to speak to you guys this morning for a few minutes and share a little bit about myself, but also talk to you guys a little bit about what's most important, not only this time of the year, but what's most important at your age, at school, being a good person, a good friend, a good athlete, a good teammate, all those good things. Because I know what's important to you all, because I know what was important to me when I was reading about myself, where I come from, what I do, what I've been through. Hey, how cool is this? I've captured a great white shark with my hands in the Pacific Ocean. What about that? Hey, I've wrestled a silverback gorilla in the Congo. I've flown a submarine. And I beat LeBron James one-on-one. Do y'all believe that? I mean, I just want to see if y'all are paying attention to me this morning. You were awake yet. But I come from a small town called Campbellsville, Kentucky. And I grew up there. I had the pleasure of playing, sports growing up, and I played high school basketball, and that landed me a scholarship to go to school to play college basketball. And I know a lot of y'all are looking at me, and you're saying, that guy didn't play college basketball, he's too short. Now, some of you just started laughing, so that's what you were actually thinking, right? Like, you're too short to play college basketball. But here's the deal. I played with guys who were really, really tall, so it made life a lot easier. And after college, I was a school teacher and coach, and I heard some of you all this morning saying you want to be a teacher, right? Some of you said, I want to be a teacher when I grow up. And that's important. I'm going to get to that about what I asked you. And I was also a basketball coach. I actually taught at the school that some of you won't be going to. Warren East High School. Say, go Raiders! That's right. I was the head girls basketball coach, and I taught social studies. And I know you guys already think that I'm cool. You're like, oh man, I wish you was my social studies teacher, aren't you? Here's the cool part, guys. I built a lot of great relationships. I worked with a lot of cool people. And one of those really, really cool people is Coach Simpson. Wouldn't you agree? I want everybody to look at the camera back there and say, what's up, Coach Simpson? He's not here this morning, but I want you guys to say hi to him because he's a dear friend of mine. And he's someone that's helped me understand the things that I will share with you this morning. But I asked a lot of you a question this morning. I walked around some tables. I asked you if you were ready for breakfast, if you're excited about Friday. And as we spoke, I asked you a question about what would you want to be, all right? If you could be anything in the world, what would it be when you grow up? And I heard all kinds of cool stories. I heard, let's see here, I heard some teachers, I heard some nurse practitioners, I heard archaeologists, I can't even spell that. I heard basketball players, soccer players. Somebody said instead of being a cop, they said they want to be the po-po. Who said that? He said, I want to be the po-po. Right? So all kind of cool stuff, heart surgeons, brain surgeons. And I do want to say to my man in the back, Todd said he wanted to be a special agent. And so I want you guys to give Todd a hand back there. The thing I want to share with you all, if you guys can just connect with me for just a few minutes this morning, if no one else has told you this lately, if no one else has has taken me off to the side, and I can't put on, and before we go even further, and it's hard for me to introduce myself to everyone as an individual, but I want you to know that, hi, my name is Jeremy, and on the count of three, I want you to tell me what your name is. 1, 2, 3. Nice to meet you too. And although I can't take all of you around one by one and put my arm around you and ask you, what is it that you want to be? What are your dreams? What are your goals? What makes your heart beat fast? What keeps you up late at night and wakes you up early in the morning because you get excited about it? Although I can't ask all of you that individually, I do want you to know from the stage, looking at you right now, that whatever it is that you want to be, guess what? You can be be just that. I want you to point to yourself. Everybody point to yourself. Now I want you to look around. I want you to look around and look at where everybody's pointing. Point to yourself. Now take note of where people are pointing at. Where's most people pointing? I heard someone say it up here. They said they're pointing to their heart. Most people, they're not pointing at their eyeball. They're not pointing at their nose, right? They're not pointing in their ear. They're pointing to their heart. Because that's what I want you guys to understand this morning, is that who you are is right here, right? And whatever's in here, you got to protect it. And so a couple of points this morning that I want to share with you. The importance of having a dream and dreaming big, but also understanding what it means to set a goal. How many of you would agree that it would be very difficult to get to a place if you didn't know how to get there? Right? It'd be pretty tough, right? By show of hands, right? So if you don't know where you're going, guess what? Any road will take you there. So it's important, although you may not know exactly what you're going to be when you grow up. You may not know exactly where you want to go to college. You may not know all those things, and guess what? It's okay. But if you do have a desire, if you do have a goal, if you do have a dream, if you write it down, then some cool things will happen along the way. You'll start to figure out the how in the process. So, how many people would agree that if we put a blindfold on you right now, and we spun you around a few times, and we had a target, and we shoot an arrow at the target, we put a blindfold on you, we spun you around, you think you can hit the target with the arrow? Yeah. Now some of you said, yeah, don't lie to me. Don't be lying to me this morning. No, it'll be hard, wouldn't it? Right? So I want you guys to understand that without setting goals, and here's the deal. As you grow, as you move on to the next grade, you're going to learn some things along the way, guys. These teachers, they're going to steer you in a direction. They're going to help you understand how to put a couple things together to accomplish what it is that you want to be. But the most important point that I want to make this morning, and I wrote some things down because you all are important too. I want to make sure that I didn't leave it out. The most important thing is being your best. And I know testing is coming up, isn't that right? You start next Wednesday. Well, here's what I want you to know. That whenever you decide to put forth your best effort, it shows someone else that they can do it as well. And I come from a background where at the age of 5, my parents, they got divorced. And I share that with you guys because I want you to know that I'm a real person. You may think that I'm standing up here, well, that guy, he's a good talker, he's kind of funny. I don't think I can do what he does. But that's the reason why I wore jeans this morning. That's the reason why I wore my favorite pair of Chucks. They're a little dirty because they've been here, there, and everywhere. That's the reason why I wore a t-shirt this morning. Because I wanted you guys to know that I'm just like you. And I come from a home, my parents divorced when I was 5, and I got a little frustrated about that. I didn't know why. I didn't understand. You know, as a kid, I thought, well, if my mom and dad loved one another, then why would they separate? But I learned a little bit about it along the way. Matter of fact, I thought I was a cool kid. I was like, man, I get to have Christmas with dad and Christmas with mom. I thought I was like, double presents, baby. That's what I'm talking about. I was like, man, I get to celebrate my birthday twice. Yes, sir. I got excited about that. So I came from that background, and as I grew up, what it did is it made me tougher because it gave me an opportunity to appreciate the time that I spent with both of my parents. I didn't get a chance to see my dad every single day, and I wasn't with my mom every single day. But every time I was with them, they taught me some lessons, and I want to share those lessons with you this morning. The number one thing my mom taught me about being your best. Whenever I was in middle school, and I'm wearing a ring for you, this is going to tie into the story that I'm sharing with you. This is a college championship ring. Everybody say, ooh, right? And so whenever I was at an early age, I was real small, so when I started playing basketball, I got beat a lot. I wasn't very good. Whenever I played in church league, I didn't win a game. I didn't win a single game my first season. That's bad. Everybody say, oh, it's a sad story. Then next year, guess what? We won a championship. I went to middle school my first year. We didn't win very many games. The next year, guess what we won? A championship. And I remember when I was in middle school one time, I got knocked down on the floor. I was kind of complaining and whining and crying about it. I got home that But here's what I'll tell you. When you get knocked down, you're going to get back up. And the next time you don't get back up, and you complain about it, and you expect people to feel sorry for you about it, you know what we're not going to let you do anymore? We're not going to let you play anymore. Because if you're going to play, then you're going to give your best. Because if not, then you're not doing your team any good, you're not doing your coach any good, you're not doing your school any good. And I never forgot that. And I embraced that, I learned from it. And I remember going through high school. I get to high school, my first 2 years, we won a total of 5 games. That's terrible. That's bad. Guess what we won though? The next year, a championship. I went to college, we had a rough couple of years, my freshman and sophomore year. But guess what we won my senior year? A championship. And along the way, guess what I thought about doing? My freshman year of college, I thought about quitting. I thought about giving up. And my dad shared a story with me after one of those games. And what my dad told me, he shared a story with me of when he and my mom separated. And he talked about how hard it was going to be. And he talked about how he prayed about it. And he talked about how when he prayed about it, he got stronger. And he talked about as when he got stronger, he realized and understood that things in life don't always go the way that we want them to. But we can always determine the attitude that we have. Can we agree on that? Yeah. Sometimes in life, you don't really want to come to school, you don't want to take that test, you're not really happy about your parents making you throw up the clothes or take out the trash, right? You don't want to do all those things. Or you get a little frustrated with your little sister because she's following you around, and you don't realize that you're her hero. You don't understand those things, but you can always control your attitude. Here's what my dad shared with me, and here's what I want you guys to understand if you don't understand anything else today. My dad told me this: tough times come and go, but tough people last. And my dad taught me how to not be a quitter. Because winners never quit, and quitters never win. So that's what I'm going to share with you guys today. Just a couple of points in reference to the fact that I want you to perform at your best, and whenever times get a little tough, whether it be in school, whether it be out there at home, or whatever it is, guys, that quitters never win and winners never quit. And here's what I want to leave you with. A mentor of mine shared this with me. He said, every single day, Jeremy, life may not be what you want it to be, but if you wake up, you dress up, you show up, and you don't give up, you'll blow up in this thing called life, and you'll help a lot of people be what they want to be. Isn't that cool? Right? Isn't that cool? So I want you to say this with me right here. I want you to look to your neighbor, one of your neighbors, look to them and say, you're a winner,